Have you ever wondered why the version of you who wants to change keeps losing to the version of you who just wants 5 more minutes? Not because you are lazy, not because you are broken, but because every night something very small happens. At 11:47 p.m., imagine you are lying in bed, making a promise to yourself. Not a loud promise, not the kind you announce to anyone, just a quiet sentence in a dark room with your phone glowing against your face. Tomorrow, I'll start. And for a few seconds, you believe it. You imagine yourself waking up early, sitting at the desk, working with focus, becoming someone disciplined, calm, and difficult to distract. Then the screen moves again. One more video, one more scroll, one more small delay that does not look dangerous. Nothing dramatic happens. There is no explosion, no villain enters the room, no single moment where your life obviously changes direction. There is only a bed, a glowing screen, and the soft little sentence you have told yourself before. Tomorrow. And the strange thing is, it does not feel like you have lost anything. Not yet. That is how procrastination survives. It does not arrive looking like destruction, it arrives looking like comfort. The next morning, you wake up with a familiar weight in your chest. Not guilt exactly, something quieter. The feeling of remembering that you disappointed yourself again. You look at the desk. The notebook is still there. The laptop is still closed. The task is still waiting in the exact place you left it. And for a moment, you want to change. That moment is real. You are not lying when you say you want a better life. You are not pretending when you imagine yourself becoming focused, consistent, healthier, calmer, more disciplined. You really do want it. But wanting the future is not the same as building it. This is where the pattern hides. Because yesterday did not feel important, and the day before that did not feel important either. Each delay seemed too small to matter. 5 minutes, one skipped session, one ignored task, one more night of saying, "I'll do it tomorrow." But after enough repetition, a delay stops being a delay. It becomes a routine. Then the routine becomes familiar. Then the familiar becomes identity. And eventually, you are not just postponing tasks. You are practicing becoming someone who postpones themselves. Most people think procrastination is a time management problem, but that is not quite true. You know how time works. You know the deadline is coming. You know the project matters. You know the workout would help. You know the skill will not build itself. The problem is not that you cannot read a calendar. The problem is that when the moment arrives to act, your brain asks a different question. Not, "What will this cost me later?" but, "How can I feel better right now?" On one side, a notebook. On the other, a glowing phone. That is the common lie. You think you are waiting for motivation. You think you are waiting for the right mood. You think the better version of you will appear one morning with more energy, more confidence, and less resistance. But maybe motivation was never the starting point. Maybe motivation is often the reward for beginning. You have felt this before. The task looks impossible before you start. Then, after 5 minutes, it becomes slightly less impossible. After 10 minutes, your mind begins to settle. After 20 minutes, the thing you avoided starts to feel strangely manageable. The monster was not the task. The monster was the doorway. And every time you turned away from it, the doorway became darker. Now imagine another version of you. Not a perfect version. Not some glowing superhero with endless discipline. Just another you. A quieter you. A version who started earlier. One holds a phone. The other holds a notebook. This version still felt tired, still doubted himself, still wanted to escape into easy comfort, still had days where everything felt heavy. But somewhere in the past, this version did something different. He kept one small promise, then another, then another. He wrote one page when it would have been easier to scroll. He practiced for 20 minutes when he did not feel talented. He went for the walk, opened the laptop, sent the message, studied badly, started before he felt ready. And at first, nothing happened. No one noticed. The world did not reward him immediately, but time noticed. And time is always recording. One day became 1 week. 1 week became 1 month. 1 month became a year. And now, this other version stands in front of you, not as a miracle, but as evidence. He is not better than you. He is what happened when small actions were allowed to accumulate. That is what makes him haunting. He was not impossible. He was available. Most people think one wasted day disappears, but one wasted day does not disappear. It trains you. Then another, then another. Slowly, the dots form a pattern. 30 minutes of scrolling does not look like much. One skipped workout does not look like much. One postponed project does not look like much. That is why it is dangerous, because the things that change your life usually look small while they are happening. Imagine you practiced one skill for 30 minutes a day. Not perfectly, not dramatically, just 30 honest minutes. In a week, that is 3.5 hours. In a month, about 15 hours. In a year, more than 180 hours. In 5 years, you are no longer asking whether you are talented. You have become someone with proof. Now imagine the opposite. 30 minutes a day handed to a glowing screen. 30 minutes of avoidance. 30 minutes of disappearing. 30 minutes of teaching your brain that discomfort is something to escape. In the moment, both choices feel small, but time does not treat them equally. Time multiplies whatever you repeat. And eventually, you do not simply have habits, you have a direction. Your brain is not evil, it is old. Older than your goals, older than your calendar, older than your idea of success. Its first job is not to help you build the body, finish the project, pass the exam, write the book, or become disciplined. Its first job is to protect you, and discomfort looks like danger. Inside the stickman's head, a tiny alarm rings when he looks at a difficult task. A blank page creates uncertainty. A hard workout creates effort. A serious dream creates the possibility of failure. A difficult conversation creates the risk of rejection. So your brain offers you something easier. A video, a snack, a nap, a notification, a small hit of relief. Not happiness, relief. And relief is powerful because it arrives quickly. The future is quiet. The phone is loud. The future asks for patience. The phone asks for nothing. The future pays slowly. The phone pays now. So you choose the thing that makes the discomfort disappear. And for a moment, it works. The pressure fades. The task leaves your mind. The room feels lighter. But there is a hidden contract. Every time you choose relief, the task waits for you. Only now, it waits with interest. The real cost of procrastination is not just lost time. That would be painful enough. But it takes something deeper. It takes trust. Stickman standing in front of a mirror. The reflection looks away. Every night you make promises. Every day you break them. After a while, your own words stop sounding real. I'll start tomorrow. I'll change next week. This time will be different. At first, those sentences feel hopeful. Then they become familiar. Then they become empty. And this is where procrastination becomes more than a habit. It becomes a story you tell about yourself. You stop saying, I delayed the work. You start thinking, I am the kind of person who delays. You stop saying, I got distracted. You stop thinking, I cannot focus. You stop saying, I avoided discomfort. You start thinking, maybe I am weak. But identity is often just memory with a name. You watched yourself repeat the same pattern so many times that you mistook the pattern for your personality. The saddest part is not that you wasted time. It is that you started to believe the wasted time was who you were. And somewhere in the distance, the other version of you keeps walking. Not because he is better, because he started. Then one night, something changes. Not everything, just something. Your hand reaches for the phone, then stops. The room is silent. There is no music, no sudden confidence, no dramatic transformation, only a small pause between impulse and action. And inside that pause, you see the whole pattern. The promise, the delay, the relief, the regret, the next promise. A circle so familiar that it started to feel like fate. But it was not fate. It was practice. And if avoidance can be practiced, then action can be practiced too. So you do something almost embarrassingly small. You sit at the desk. You open the notebook. You write one sentence. It is not a good sentence. It does not change your life immediately. No one applauds. The room looks exactly the same. But something has shifted. Because for once, you have given your brain new evidence. Not a speech, not a plan, not another fantasy about who you will become. Evidence. You acted while still feeling resistance, and that matters. Discipline does not arrive as a feeling. It arrives as a small action done without permission from your mood. The next day, you do not become perfect. This matters. You still want to scroll. You still want to delay. You still feel boredom standing in the room like gray fog. But now, you understand boredom differently. Boredom is not always a wall. Sometimes it is a doorway that most people turn away from too early. Behind boredom is focus. Behind discomfort is growth. Behind starting badly is the possibility of starting again. So you make the promise smaller. Not, I will change my entire life. Just, I will work for 10 minutes. Not, I will become disciplined forever. Just, I will keep this one promise today. And because the promise is small, it becomes harder to run from. You write one sentence, then another. You clean one corner of the desk. You walk outside for 10 minutes. You practice badly. You return the next day. Tiny actions, almost invisible. But so were the delays that built the old life. This is the secret hiding in front of you. You do not become your future self in one heroic moment. You become that person by repeating small votes for the person you want to be, until the evidence becomes difficult to deny. Years from now, there will be another version of you. The question is not whether he will exist. He will. The question is what he will be made of. The desk is simple, the phone is still there, but the notebooks are filled. He will be made of mornings you used well, or mornings you surrendered. He will be made of promises kept, or promises postponed. He will be made of the moments when no one was watching, when nothing felt urgent, when the choice was small enough to ignore. That is where a life is built. Not in the dramatic turning points, not in the perfect plan, not in the fantasy version of yourself who finally feels ready, but in ordinary rooms, on ordinary days, inside ordinary decisions that seem too small to matter. The phone does not steal your life all at once. The notebook does not save you all at once either. Both futures are built the same way, repeatedly, quietly, almost invisibly. And maybe that is the most uncomfortable truth. You are not waiting for your future self. You are building him, right now, with whatever you do next. Tomorrow was never a place you arrived at. It was something you kept creating.